Hello, Dr. Calleman.
Hello, Lidu. How are you?
Very good, very good. Well, I wanted to catch up with you and see what happened really from this conscious convergence that a lot of us have participated on July 17 and 18. You have led a fantastic, phenomenal meditation with the Tree of Life. So I wanted to discuss a little bit more what is the Tree of Life, what happened on the conscious conversion day, what is to expect next.
Okay.
So tell us, what was that experience for you? What happened on the conscious conversion weekend?
Oh, well, for me, I was in the island of Kauai, and which is a wonderful place. And there were several gatherings in the Hawaiian Islands. And so we had several gatherings. We went up at 4 o'clock in the morning, both days. And we had music, prayers, and meditations, and healing ceremonies. And we also did it according to Hawaiian tradition. Lani, who is Hawaiian, she guided us through some different, you might say, temples, or heiai as they call it. And so we went first to the male heiai, or the one for the divine masculine, and then to the female, and then to a birthing place. And I thought that was a wonderful ceremony, and I think people were very uplifted, and that's what I hear from many other places as well. It was just a joyful and uplifting experience.
Very moving, actually. A lot of emotion for me personally came up. Like very, very profoundly touched by this world, wild and beyond, connection.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
you led a meditation with the life tree. Can you tell us more? What is the tree of life?
Well,
what happened there?
Yeah. Well, it was like a global medicine wheel that was formed because people were participating in the 4 directions of the world. So there were the Mayan elders in the West, pretty much on the equator, and then there were people in Norway and Sweden in the north, and with the representative of Sami minority. And there were the people gathering at the temples in Bali, which I've seen amazing pictures of, I must say. It's just some tremendous beauty whenever you go to the East and their spirituality. And then there were people in the South, which included then Bushmen, and I've seen how they gathered around one of their trees. They call it the Tree of Faith, and had put out stones from this tree to mark the 4 directions. And so I think that this is an important thing, because it created a context, a planetary context for this event, that we are part of it in all 4 directions. And the Tree of Life, what it is, to begin with, it is an ancient myth or symbol. It's been something you find almost all over the world. If you like, you can see the Christian cross as one of the symbols of the Tree of Life, but which took a very specific meaning, and not stayed with the original meaning of the Tree of Life. Then, in Europe, in Scandinavia, there is the old Viking idea of Yggdrasil, which is a big ash, which was bigger than the whole earth and the heavens. And in Germany, the Germanic tribes had something called Irmensul, the giant pillar, and the Slavic peoples had Svetovid, which was the tree, or you say 4-directional god, facing in 4 directions from a tree. And then of course, you have the well-known Jewish story in the first book of the Bible, the Tree of Life, and you have it in the from the Maya. And all the Native Americans people who have a medicine wheel or some kind of an idea that the world is organized four directions. And so this is a very ancient belief that there are sort of inherent qualities in the four directions. And it's more or less something that has disappeared with the what I call the planetary underworld. Pretty much all ideas of an inherent spiritual forces on the planet, or spiritual forces guiding our process of evolution. All of these thoughts disappeared, and because people were not able to see that in the kind of filter that dominated them at the time. And the result is that these kind of ideas disappeared, the ideas of the four direction of a medicine wheel and so forth, and was just held up by a few groups of indigenous peoples, basically, who still saw it as part of their worldview. Mm-hmm. So to begin with, it's a myth or a symbol that has existed in many, many different places. But then it makes you wonder now if all of these different cultures, and I have just mentioned a few of them, if they have this basic notion that there is a sort of a tree of life in the center of creation, which is obvious from the Jewish Garden of Eden story, but it's there everywhere else, more or less. It makes you wonder, could this be without some reality being behind it? And that's what I think once you start to study the Mayan calendar seriously, you do find that these directions, they have different energies. It's a reality. And it's not an accident that throughout much time we have thought of East and West as being two very separate mentalities. It is, in fact, mentalities that are distinct, and they have been distinct because this tree of life, which you might say the trunk of the tree of life is on our level, it is the polar axis. But then it sends out other axes in different directions and creating these kind of polarities of energies that has created the history of our planet, giving North a different role than South and West another role than what the East. And this then is for us, I think, today to be to recreate and again become conscious of as a part of the retrieval of the spiritual qualities of our earth. And in such, it is a significant aspect of the Mayan calendar, because the ancient Maya, they would see and say that the origin of their calendar is the tree of life. And here what we did was to recreate it on the level of our planet. And it's part of the re-spiritualization of the world, if there is such a word.
So we were really pre-paving. You said the ninth wave coming up. So this is, I mean, what's going on right now? When is the next day, the big date coming up, and what is happening between now and then?
Well, I think there are two different things coming that I see. I personally, I will also be sort of participating in other events that are not necessarily Mayan or based on the Mayan calendar, but as long as they are supportive of the basic oneness message, I will participate in them. One example then is the 10-10, the Power of One event that is planned in Washington D.C. For October 10th, which is just it's a oneness gathering basically as it stands now, like now. And this is not a Mayan date, it's a Gregorian date, 1010, but if the intention is aligned, that's something I will be part of. But from the Mayan perspective of the Mayan calendar and the process related Mayan calendar, I think there are two things. One is the beginning of the seventh day or the galactic wave. In other words, it comes to its last step, the 13th step, and that will happen November 3rd of this year. And as far as I can understand that, the meaning of this is that the field of the planet will be locked in a new position that no longer supports dominance. Most specifically, it doesn't support Western dominance or male dominance. And so on the level of on the personal level, I think the best way here to celebrate it is to celebrate an end to male dominance. And that seems, I see people are already starting to prepare for that. I know they'll have a gathering in Kauai where all these women that have been gathering goddess sanctuaries in different parts of the world will be gathering. And so I think that will be, the intent will be to create a new and more healthy, balanced relationship between the genders. But that, as part of that, it's sort of the end to all forms of dominance. The best way of doing this on a personal level is to celebrate the end of male dominance, which I believe will be coming in especially with this new energy at that time.
And then what is, because there is the October date, there is a lot of things coming up to the ninth wave.
Yes. And then I believe when the ninth wave starts, March 9th, that should stand on what has been accomplished in prior events. And so March 9th, 2011, I think there should be something like this, the second conscious convergence, or possibly called the cosmic convergence. I don't know what the name is, but that's when the ninth wave actually starts. And I believe that we, to some extent, retrieved significant tools, if you like, already in this conscious convergence. In other words, we're getting a more deeper sense of the actual timing and the speed up of the processes. And we're seeing ourselves maybe in the context of the tree of life, and how this has created the different energies of the world. A deeper sense that the processes that our minds are subject to ultimately go back to, or our spirits are subject to, ultimately goes back to processes that originate from this tree of life. And I also think it's all about, to me, the idea of unity consciousness. It really means like unity with God, without any middlemen, so to speak, or middle women, so to speak, without any not only religions, but not even teachings, not even anything coming from it means
no third parties.
No third parties. No third parties. That for all of us to come in directly come into the space of God and find our guidance through that. And I know that is possible, and it's something I will be expanding on. And And I think that's really what the ninth wave is all about. It's that kind of a unity. That's unity consciousness, to get to that space and to act from that space. That's very much needed, the action from that space.
It's interesting because when I was interesting Barbara Max Harburg, she said Carl Calleman, must have had some universal being experience, to interpret all the Maya calendar as he did, because it's not just on a scientific level, it's really on another level. I mean, I would be interested to hear how you're, how you found out all this time acceleration factor and all those different things that you've been able to discover beyond the scientific level. What's really going on, Carl? We want to know.
well, it's well, I have had such experiences, this kind of experience of unity with all that is. And it is not much more mysterious than that. I have not had encounters with unusual beings or anything like that. All I can say is that I am a trained scientist, and I've had these experiences of the unity of all things, not like an intellectual concept or making it up, but just being in that space of just feeling I am the cosmos is me, everything is one. So I've had those experiences. And of course, once you have them, not like an intellectual thought, it means that you will be coming from another place, you will be acting from another place, and you will be trying to understand the Mayan calendar from another place than if you have not had them. And there are many people that have had that, those kind of experiences. I don't know how many % of the populations that have had, but certainly that's not anything unique or special like that.
Yeah, but that tremendously helped you in the research and in even with the scientific aspect.
Yeah, it's given me another perspective, yes.